Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Well, today is going to be 77 degrees and sunny and cloudy. It sounds like it'll be a nice day. And as usual, I got to do a little something in the garden, but I also have to do a little something in the house. I got to clean up my kitchen table, and a couple of my kitchen counters could use a little bit of spiffying up. So that'll probably be what I'm working my way through the day with. I don't have a big mess going in the house, but it does need a little bit of daily maintenance. I think we all need that. So I'm not planning on going anywhere today. Today is garbage day, so I'll see if there's anything that needs to go out in the trash, but I don't think so. I'm not going to work on my garage yet. Not until my garden is done. So, anyway, I really don't know what I'm going to do for the day until after I have my coffee and I think about it for a while. I don't like a big, long to-do list. I do what I can during the day, and what doesn't get done, I do a different day. So it's part of the perks of being retired. You don't have to have a big long list that you have to rush through every day because you got to go back to work. So cheers. I know some people are afraid to retire because they're afraid they're going to be bored. But I never found that to be a problem. I have plenty of hobbies and things to do. And since I'm always going through my stuff and organizing it and purging it, and, it keeps me busy. And it's fine. Sometimes I get in the mindset that I still have to hurry up. I think that's left over from my working days. But then I have to have a talk with myself and, say there's no rush. You don't have to rush through this. So that's what I do. So all right, I'm going to go enjoy my coffee and I'll be back later. Well, I'm out here in my garden again, and this is my little rose garden, and it's just gotten way overtaken with weeds. I used to have a tree here. It was a Bradford pear, and I had to have it taken down because it was half rotten, and I cannot get rid of these shoots, and I can't get anybody in here either to take the root out because I have too much fencing up, and that would be a lot of work. So I have to keep cutting all this down all the time, and it's a real annoyance. So I think you can drill holes in it and put salt or Epsom salt in there. I forget which one. So maybe next year I'll do that. But in the meantime, I've got all these weeds to pull too. So I got to get busy and get this all taken care of. I've got more weeds over here, and I also have some mint growing. So and some sage. So I have to pull these weeds too. So that'll be my project for the day. I don't know if I'll get to this section, but I definitely want to work on this one. Well, I got a big, huge bag of debris. It doesn't look that big, but it is. I got all this weeded, but I'm not going to cut down the sage and the peppermint yet, the mint. That over there is lemon thyme because I don't have time today to dry it and clean it. So that'll be another project for another day, but I got all the weeds out, so yay. And then over here, I got everything cleaned out, and hopefully some of the flowers will come back next year. We'll see. The roses did okay this year, but they should be better next year. So, and I got all that cleaned out from that stupid tree that I can't get rid of. So I could grow another tree there, but I don't want to because I want this open for my next year's garden. I don't need another tree. I've got lots and lots of trees. And just wait until all these leaves come down. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be up to my waist in leaves. So anyway, I'm glad I got that done. That was my goal for the day, to get this area cleaned up. And I'm happy with that. Well, it's time for an afternoon cup of coffee. Cheers. So I got my garden chores done for the day. I still have plenty to do out there. But I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish for the last couple days. And like I said before, sometimes I can be a bit of a procrastinator. But it all gets done eventually. So anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, I wanted to talk about this subject, and I wanted to get your opinion as to what's going on. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, all different kinds. I watch political ones, I watch science ones on healthcare, I watch, what's new, discoveries, things like that. I watch art videos, garden videos. I like a lot of variety in my videos. So there has been a lot of videos on the UFO situation, and about the comet and everything going on. And then I don't know if it's just because those are things that are of interest to me that I like to watch, but even people are coming forward in congressional hearings and talking about all this. So I wanted to get your opinion as to what you think is going on. Do you think it's a bunch of baloney? Or do you think that there's justification in some of the things that they're saying? Many years ago, when I think I was 15 or 16, my cousin and my parents, we went on a vacation to Florida, and we went to Pompano Beach. So that was a really cool trip because a couple things happened. It was late at night, and you know how they usually have the motel or hotel will have spotlights on the beach. Well, we got to witness baby sea turtles hatching, and they were running all over the place. I guess when there's light like that, they get confused, and they don't run right to the ocean like they're supposed to. So I remember my cousin and I, we were running around gathering up the ones that were headed in the wrong direction and putting them in the ocean, because if they don't make the ocean by the time daylight comes, the seagulls will come in and eat them. So, but it was really cool, and they were so cute. They're only about this big, but they had just hatched. So that was really, really a cool thing to see. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So, and another thing, we were driving somewhere. I don't know if we were going back home or where we were going, but we were driving across the Everglades. And the Everglades are dark. At least they were back then. I don't know if any of them are lit up now, but dark, dark, dark. And my cousin was sleeping, and I think my dad was driving, and my mom was in the front seat. And because it was so dark, the night sky was very visible. So now, mind you, this is back in 1965, 66, somewhere around that time frame. And as we're driving up high in the sky, it wasn't like it was hovering over the car or anything like that, but high up in the sky, we could see this orb, and it looked like, you know how a headlight looks from a plane when it's coming towards you? Well, that's what it looked like, but it wasn't really moving. It wasn't coming closer. It wasn't doing any of those things. It was just up there, kind of hovering. So, I mean, it was visible enough that it piqued our interest. So we were watching this thing for some, to see what it was doing or what was it, because we figured out it was not a plane, I mean, it just wasn't, because it wasn't flying by or anything like that. So we watched it for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, this orb just does a 90-degree and just poof, and it was gone. I mean, just like that. And back in, in 50 or in 65 or 66, I know we did not have that technology back then. This thing was so fast, it was just, we just kind of went, whoa, did you see that? And it was gone. That was it. So that was my experience in what I called a UFO, because I have no idea what it could have been. Like I said, it wasn't a weather balloon, because a weather balloon couldn't do that. We didn't have the technology of planes, because it was a fraction of a second and it was gone. And it wasn't like it was coming towards us and disappeared behind a cloud. It was just poof, and gone. So anyway, that was an interesting trip. But that was a long time ago. But I never forgot that. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think is going on with all these UFOs? And do you think it's extraterrestrials? Do you think it's all a bunch of baloney? Do you think it's dimensional travel? Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. So anyway, then the rest of the week is going to be nice. And so I plan on doing maybe an hour in the garden every day. That's the plan. But like I said, I'm a procrastinator, so it doesn't always happen. But it's going to be in the low 80s coming up. So, and sunny. There's no rain in the forecast. And I'm thinking about maybe in the spring, any potted plants that survive. I'm going to see maybe, now this is just something I'm starting to think about, maybe hire a landscape person that can plant some things in the ground for me, because the ground back there is, I mean, it's pretty fertile because there's weeds like everywhere, but it's still hard, so especially with being so dry. Uh-oh. Oh. So I'm thinking about maybe having some of the arborvitae. They're not real big yet. They're like maybe this tall, having those actually planted in the ground. Because eventually they will outgrow their container, even though it's a really big container. And I'd like to sort of have them as maybe a privacy hedge back there. It'll be planted in the same spot as they are now, but in the ground. So I'm thinking about having that done. I don't know, maybe, if I have the money, or if I can find somebody that'll just bother with doing that, because a lot of times landscapers and you know, contractors, they don't want to bother with little jobs. They want big jobs to get done. So anyway, that was my day. I still didn't clean up the kitchen table. It's not horrible, but you know, you start getting accumulating papers. I finally completed my census. It's important if you got a census from the government to complete it. Actually, it's a mandatory thing if they send you a census that you complete it. And I found that it was kind of a pain in the butt because they ask you things like, you know, do you pay for electricity? Do you pay for what kind of fuel? And how much do you pay for the year? And, you know, I mean, it's like up and down. It's not always the same. So I just kind of had to guesstimate that, how much I spend a year. Because honestly, I haven't been tracking that lately. I did track that when I was paying off my debt, but now I don't have much debt. So, you know, just still my tires, I'm paying those off. So, but yeah, or, you know, water bill. What is your water bill for the year? How much do you pay for water? Well, that's not always the same either. You know, if I go by the summer, of course, my water consumption is way more than in the winter. So, and, you know, I'm not going to go and, you know, add up all my bills from the year. I mean, that would be too time consuming. So, you know, if you did get a census, just be aware that those are some of the questions on there. So anyway, yeah, that was my day, and it was a good day. And I'm just having leftovers for dinner. I cooked the stuffed peppers, what would I call them? Unconstructed stuffed peppers in my little rice cooker. And they turned out good, but I would, next time I made those, I would put less water in there because it made it a little bit, the rice a little bit overcooked, but I don't mind that. Yeah, so anyway, so I have plenty for dinner. Tomorrow my friend and I are going to be going out for Mexican to celebrate our birthdays. Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart. Hers is towards the end of August and mine is the beginning, mid-September, and we still haven't celebrated our birthdays, so we try and do that every year. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.